Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Encourage Mindset. Today, I have alongside me Rick DeMedeiros, and he is the founder of DeMedeiros Injury Law Firm. And this is a law firm that focuses specifically on workers' compensation. Rick has been an attorney for quite some time, and he's had, as you know, an experience in entrepreneurship. So we're really excited to have him on, get his mindset. But he's been out there helping injured workers with medical treatments, income benefits, protection they deserve, and sometimes the hardest moments of their lives. And so, Rick, a question that I have for you is you've seen people in their absolute lowest moments. So what separates the clients who mentally recover from one of those versus the people that stay in a longer drought of a mindset due to what goes on in their life?
You know, that's a great question, Ethan. And first of all, thanks for having me on your podcast. Excited to be here. Mindset is so huge, and you even see it, written in the medical records when they see a doctor that, the people that do the best are the ones that want to get better. And, the things I hear sometimes from the other side as well, you're the business of making sure people, get worse or don't get better, but it's not the case. I mean, I have no control over their mindset, but I try to have some impact over it, and I say, make sure you go into the doctor's office and tell the truth and be very specific and that sort of thing. And, the goal is to get better. And most people, I'd say 99% of the time want to get better. There's the 1% that, are in it for the money, but they're few and far between. And I try to screen those people out as much as possible. And yes, there are some out there, but I mean, mindset is huge, and it's really going to be the determining factor in someone's case, usually because, someone that is pushing themselves in physical therapy, that's looking for different avenues of getting better, those are the people that really end up with much better results, no matter what the injuries are, right? People that have a good mindset about getting better, not wanting to just make money off their claim, are the ones that typically do the best.
Yeah, and we see that in all sorts of aspects of life, not just being an injured client. We see that in, marketing. We see that in a variety of personal development spaces too. That's why mindset is so critical. But to kind of get more insight of your mindset, Rick, you started this law firm quite a while ago, and I'm sure you've experienced highs and lows of mindset. So what do you continue to do as an entrepreneur to seek a positive mindset?
The main thing is, and I think it all begins with, what kind of entrepreneur are you? There's the people that, well, I just want to be my own boss and make the rules and make a lot of money. People can be successful, but I think you really want to be able to, and you really have to solve your own problems or get help and find the right people to help solve your problems. Because you can there's problems every day, both in the business with clients and things they go into, but also like when you're working on the business, there's problems every day. And, how you attack those problems makes a huge difference. You can just be like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. Or you can say, well, this didn't work, right? So let's try something else. And I'm a firm believer that it's not a success or failure at each point. It's, the foundation of success is failure. You have to go through it. And if you have that mindset, when you reach a brick wall, you don't go, well, that's it. You go, okay, well, this is not the path, right? And so you find another way. Rejection is just redirection, right? And so you just have to find your ways around simple problems. Like earlier, my new alarm system was going off. Well, that's going to be really annoying for this podcast. Nathan's going to yell at me. So let me figure out first how to come in the morning and figure that out so it doesn't go off. And so I did that. Just sometimes it's not huge things. It's little things that you just have to deal with every single day.
Yeah, I totally get that. I liked your point about the redirection part. Is most of the time people, when they battle a negative or they go through adversity, like you said, most of the time people just give up. But it's how you stay disciplined through your habits to continue going through these so-called valleys per se. So what do you tell people that are, I'm sure you see it every day with clients, but also you are a husband and all these other things outside of your work life. How do you tell people to get better through these valleys and see the positive? Because like you said, when most people hit a brick wall, they just stop. So what is like that tip or trick or that habit that you do?
Yeah, it's hard sometimes. I mean, I'll give you a specific example. I've got a client who's, very seriously injured, and he's had a lot of very bad days, especially early on when I first met him. And it's hard, and I'm kind of using this extreme scenario so that hopefully people listening to this will say, well, if that guy can make it through the stuff that he's got going on, then hopefully I can as well. And, and again, it's hard, but you have to refocus the person and say, hey, rather than focusing on like what you can't do today, focus on the fact that number one, you're still here. You survived this horrible accident. There's things that we can control, right? And so it's always kind of about, again, the redirection of refocusing on glass half full. Hey, I understand you're having difficulties with this. I understand that, we have all these things that are going wrong in our lives daily, weekly. Sometimes they're big, sometimes they're small. But if you just kind of focus, okay, what do I have control on? I don't have control over these three things. Okay, so let me just not focus on those. Let me focus on these two things right here that I can deal with today. And if I can help solve these issues today or find a way to solve these issues, then tomorrow I've got two less problems to worry about. And that can kind of sort of tackle those bigger ones that I can then focus on those. But it's not easy. And just in business as well, it's just sometimes the main thing is not so much about how successful you are, but it's how many times you can get up from failure and sort of battle it out the next day and focus on and breaking those things down into more manageable problems.
Yeah, I like that point. And then also you said, like just keep building it up over and over again, especially when things get hard, right? And reputation's a key critical of that, especially as lawyers, right? Because most people are like, I hate lawyers. Lawyers suck. They're the worst. They're just trying to scam me. So how do you try to build a reputation based on integrity as a lawyer? Because I would imagine in Atlanta, Georgia, it is very difficult sometimes.
It is. And, the way I tackle it is, and, everyone has a different personality, but the way I do it is kind of self-effacing humor is with clients, for instance, like I talk to clients and, a lot of times it's more new clients or clients that are in certain fields, like for instance, like law enforcement, where for whatever reason, it seems like they're just sort of predisposed to like not trust lawyers and just want to, rely on their brotherhood or their employers to take care of them. It's like, look, I know you don't like lawyers. I'm a lawyer. I sometimes hate lawyers because I deal with them every single day. I get it. And I try to be a non-lawyer lawyer in terms of like, I don't come across, I'm not like, I try to be uptight in a tie and, like I'm wearing a t-shirt today. So I try to talk to people like real people. Sometimes it's just that basic sort of thing. Don't talk to someone like you're a professor and they're a student. Talk to someone like a real person, because they are. They're coming to you with a problem and you're just going to try to help them solve the problem. Also, when I'm sitting down with doctors, sometimes I go and meet with doctors and they're the kind of like, werewolves and vampires. Sometimes they just hate each other. It's like oil and water. And I go in and some attorneys take a very different approach. They come in being kind of a-holes. I come in saying, hey, look, I'm just here. I'm representing my client. They've got this issue. I just want to talk to you today about what's going on. You're the expert here. Here's sort of what I see. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. And I'm more deferential to doctors because they come in thinking, okay, this guy's going to come in here telling me how to practice medicine or how to tell me what to do, sign this. And I'm much more of a casual, I still have a plan and strategic in what I need from them. But I talk to them again about my client as their person and talk to the doctor like they're a person and being polite and everything and still wanting something that I need from them done. But also it just comes down to how you speak to someone, to treat them with respect. I don't always get what I want from a doctor, but at least they say, hey, that guy, he wasn't an a-hole. He was nice. He's just trying to help his client. Maybe next time I'll be able to help him.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a really good competitive advantage to just be more, like you said, conversational, easygoing, and people can relate to that and people will see the genuineness that creates. What's the story of why, Rick? Why did you create this law firm? Why did you just be a 9-to-5 or stick to the stick to just being a part of somebody else's law firm? What made you start your own? What made you feel like I want to be a CEO, not just a lawyer?
Yeah. So, the first 5 years out of law school, I worked insurance defense, billing the hours and reporting to, my managing partners and supervising attorneys and that sort of thing. And it was a grind, dude. Like, it was not fun. And to all the defense attorneys out there that are still doing it, good on you, because that's not me. So when I switched sides in 2009, I was like, never again. And luckily I have not gone back, and I'm not going to. But it's part of it, I think, is personality and what you want. And, after those 5 years, I was like, I'm done. And the way I phrase it now is, a bad day, what I do now, representing injured workers, is still much better than just a regular good day, right? Billing hours and representing huge billion-dollar corporations, helping them to save a little bit of money. That's my soapbox. But it comes all down to like, look, I need to take this risk. I've got some money I can put aside for the rainy days. And it was not easy the first 6 months, year, 2 years. And so, I don't want to glorify it, but if anyone listening is like, I don't really want to continue working for someone else, that's just stop right there and just figure out a way to do it. Because if you've already got inclination, don't wait when you're 5, 6, 7 years down the road, because you will be miserable. If you can find a way to do it now.
Yeah. And it's also because like a million other excuses will come up, like, oh, my wife's pregnant. Oh, I'm gonna get married. Right. Oh, I'm doing this. And it's like, no, wait. Yeah. So I agree with you. The younger you are, like, the less you are attached to more and more bills in this world. So it's like, the risk all you can.
Yeah, do it. And, and there's people out there that go back and forth, and I that's something I will never understand. But, if you have any inclination of doing that thing, whatever that thing is, because you think you'll love it, do it. Don't stop. And like you said, great point. There's always going to be an excuse, so why not do it now?
Yeah. I've been reading this book. It was a book that we were assigned at my job. It was called Unreasonable Hospitality. So like finding a way to go above and beyond outside of what you should do. What do you find in your space that makes you different than everybody else besides what we just talked about? Like, is there something that you provide that's an unreasonable hospitality that you think makes you stand out as a lawyer or just as a person?
Yeah, great question. And I'm a zealot on this. I just had lunch with another attorney yesterday, and my one thing that I've really worked on, and I think I'm good at, there's things that I'm not good at, but I can confidently say I'm good at this, is being responsive. And I hear this all the time, like, dude, like, I just emailed you, and like 30 seconds later, you sent me a response. And so the reason is, if you talk to 100 people and they say, what's your number one complaint about your attorney or dealing with lawyers? They're going to say, my attorney does not respond to me. I can't communicate with him, he or she. They never respond. If I call in, I talk to a paralegal, I don't know who's handling my case. It's communication. That's the number one complaint people have about lawyers. And so that's an easy thing I can do. I've always got my cell phone. I've got case management software that allows me to text with clients. And so it's something small and easy. Obviously, if I'm busy, I can't always communicate or respond, within a minute or two, but I try to. And so it's amazing how many people talk to me and say, dude, I've had lawyers before. You're by far the one that you respond like that. You text, and if I call you with a problem, like, you'll pick up the phone and you'll talk to me like a human being. And even, it's kind of funny, sometimes I have a case where, if I have a personal injury case, I will refer it out, and I run into situations where the client will say, hey, I don't know how to say this, but the attorney you referred me to, they're great, but like, they don't respond like you do. And it's kind of annoying. And I was like, I know, I can't help that. That's just me. To answer your question, I think definitely my response time is probably second to none, because I'm kind of obsessed with being as responsive as I can with clients and referral sources and that sort of thing. Now, to my wife, not so much, but she'll probably have a different opinion on that. But in terms of business and that sort of thing, I try to be as responsive as possible.
Yeah, I just don't understand how some people can leave their message box so full, or their voicemail, or like all that stuff. I'm like, doesn't that drive you nuts a little bit? Like, that drives me nuts.
And I'm kind of snobby about it too, whereas, I'll refer a client to someone, a potential client to someone, And if that attorney doesn't respond to me within like a few minutes, I'm already like, okay, what's going on here? And that may be, again, unreasonable of me, but that's what I expect of myself. So when I don't get that from someone else, I'm already like, maybe next time I'll refer to another attorney that I know will be, Johnny on the spot with responding.
Do you think what you've built and what you're doing, like, is there like a formula for success there? Like, do you need to be a morning person and build this morning routine, or do you need to have like the greatest nighttime, or just goals in general? Or is this just like based upon what you've been saying, effective communication, being a genuine person, and other entrepreneurial skills, just really actively listening to your clients is what's been taking you far?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's so many issues that, you run into in the practice of law and then the business of law and everything, that it's easy to become overwhelmed, right? And so to me, the easiest thing to do is like I said before, pick a few things, but also you don't have to be like 10 times better than another attorney in terms of communicating, or 10 times better in terms of how you deal with people. You just have to be a little bit better than average. And people already will take notice. I mean, if you're a lot better, that's great. But when you're starting out, just, hey, if someone calls you, respond back as soon as possible. It doesn't have to be within 5 minutes. But compared to everyone else, if you respond just a little bit quicker, wow, this great, things are going well with this attorney. And then if every day you just try to get a little bit better, it makes it easier on you, because that mental load can be exhausting. For things to happen in nature, it just has to work. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? You don't have to be a perfect lawyer or a perfect response. Just enough to where like clients are happy, referral sources are happy. And then from there, you can build a base of like then getting better and better. But you just have to be a little bit better than everyone else. You don't have to start out being just like this amazing, responsive attorney. Just take it step by step every day. That's at least my opinion and how it's worked for me, I think.
Yeah, I just realized that terrible experience the other day. I was trying to call some lawn care companies to have a weed control and fertilizer done in my yard. I was showing my wife on my phone. I was like, I called 22 places and 4 of them answered, and then the rest was leave a voicemail. I was like, this is crazy. Just basic picking up the phone, they can't even do.
Well, that's the thing, is that it's both easy and hard, right? Picking up a phone is easy, but we're all busy. So it's hard too. Like sometimes I'm with my kid in the car and a potential new client's calling. Well, I'm going to pull over and pick up the phone safely if I can. And I have to say, hey, I got to take this quick call, which I did 2 weeks ago in a Chick-fil-A parking lot. And then that call turned into like 25 minutes. And then because I'm answering, people know when you're trying to rush them. And so, especially with new clients, it's like you just need most of it is like 80% listening and then 20% responding. And just give them the space to talk and vent. And that will pay dividends down the road. Again, it's just human nature and how to treat people and not, okay, no, what? People respond to that negatively, and they can tell.
I think that's an awesome thing to dive more on the podcast about. How do you politely tell people, or not? I don't even know how to do it, but like if you're in a hurry, like you're doing something else, you're preoccupied. How do you tell people politely that you are preoccupied and busy?
I think you try to back on them and say, that's a good point. Maybe let's chat about that once we get this first phase done or whatever. And then you just kind of turn it back and, it's like a nice way of saying, that's too much right now, just focus on this, and then we'll save everything else for another time. To me, I think it's the most polite way to do it. And then at that point, they kind of clue in, okay, like this conversation is just about over. Everything else we need to push off to another day. Because also it's at some point it becomes unproductive, because then you start talking about all these things, and half the time they're not going to remember everything you told them anyway. So if you say like, look, let's just focus on this one issue. It's Friday. I want you to relax, take it easy. I don't want you to get too stressed. Let's just take the weekend. Let's just talk again, regroup on Monday afternoon, let's say, and then kind of go from there. People then, or most people, clue in and say, okay, cool. Well, that sounds good. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you on Monday. So that's how I've handled it.
Out of curiosity, in your personal experiences, just in your personal life, how do you get sometimes the gratification of feeling it's okay to be unproductive. There's going to be days where you want to watch TV, you want to watch the Packers, you want to watch whatever's going on. But like also sometimes as a CEO and a founder of a business, it's very difficult probably sometimes to unwind because you think about all the stuff that you got going on, maybe that you could be doing. So how do you get that mindset where it's like, you got to give yourself grace sometimes?
The way, and it happens like quite a bit. The way I handle it is, okay, am I the only person who is feeling this right now? The answer is going to be no. There's just no way. And how many people are in my situation that own a business or have these things going on that don't feel like doing anything at this moment? Maybe I want to go on YouTube and just go down some rabbit hole. And so you sometimes have to give yourself grace and say, look, what you're feeling now, you're human, you're not a robot, and just let yourself feel it. And hey, if you need to take 20 minutes, 30 minutes right now, it could be at 11 in the morning on a Tuesday. Do it because you just need it. It's your body telling you it. Don't feel guilty about it because you know what? There's other people right now doing other things that are as unproductive or more unproductive. And you just need to allow yourself to do that. And then invariably that same day at night, you find yourself working, at 8:30 at night, like, oh, well, I guess it worked out anyway because I wanted to finish this one thing. And, you can take time from here in the day and move it here or not. You can just take those 20 minutes and let them just be a waste and call it a mental health, half hour or something like that. I think it's important, you can't, you don't want to burn out. You need to have space and time and energy in your life for your clients and obviously your family, your wife, your kids, your husband, whatever. So it's important.
What is some things that you do to prevent burnout?
So hanging out with my kids, my wife, going to school activities, that is sort of like a natural way to do it because you got to go. But, just having those mental health breaks, like I say, like for instance, like at night, put the kids down and I will just sit on the couch next to my snoring French bulldog and cavapoo, and we'll just go down some YouTube rabbit hole, probably something about sneakers or movies or whatever. And that's my time to just sort of chill. I try not to work, that late at night. Occasionally I do, but a lot of it is just when you feel yourself needing or wanting those mental health breaks, listen to it. Unless of course you're like driving down the interstate, I'm going to take a nap. That's not a good idea. But, those mental health breaks are huge. And when you have a time where you're like, I could do this or this, and you're really leaning toward, I need some time for myself, for my family, take it if you can, because there's always going to be time to work, right? When you're on your deathbed, you're not going to be like, I wish I worked more. You're going to say, I wish I spent more time with my family, my kids. So when you have those opportunities and you can do it, that's one of the reasons why you probably wanted to be an entrepreneur and you're in boss. So you could have those times. So don't be an entrepreneur and, you're in business and then deny yourself the benefits of having a business. That's kind of why you did it. So let yourself have it.
Yeah. Time is critical for sure. I find myself sometimes going down the Caleb Hammer YouTube rabbit hole right now. He's the guy that created Financial Audit. And he gets these funny people on that are just so silly with their money. It's just funny entertainment to listen to. But
well, the funny thing is, sometimes at night I'll be on YouTube and I'll actually like wake up. It'll be like 2:30 in the morning. My laptop's on my lap and it's, just go to whatever other video just YouTube chooses. And I'd be like, what am I watching? What is this? That's why I was dreaming about clowns with, hammers for feeders. It was, it's stuff like that where you're like, okay, I need to actually go to bed and so I'm rested for tomorrow.
That's hilarious. Anything else, Rick, that you want to share on Encourage Mindset with our listeners today?
The main thing is, if you're going to be thinking about, okay, I need to change something in my life, number one, it means you do. And number two, it doesn't have to be anything like crazy. It could be little things, right? And so if you wake up one morning and you're like, I hate where I'm at in my life, I'm just feeling depressed. It doesn't have to be like, I'm going to, move to California and become a surfer. If you can, great, go for it. But it's the little things. Hey, sometimes if I would wake up, I'm not feeling great, or I'm just in a bad mood or depressed, I'll go to the gym. and I don't want to go to the gym sometimes, but you go and 99% of the time you feel a lot better. And that right there can change your whole day. Whereas if you'd not gone to the gym and spent those 20 or 30 minutes or whatever it is that you want to do, read a book or whatever, that could really change your day. And it's nothing crazy. If you have 20 minutes to do X, do it, because that could change your whole day. And it happens to me where I wake up and it's like, man, I was in such a bad mood this morning and I did this one thing and I just found myself jamming out to some music and then had a great day. And then the end of the day was like, you know what, this could have gone one way, but it went a different way just because I made that one choice to say, no, I'm not going to just sit here and mope and not change anything. I'm going to go do something about it. And most of the time it helps. If it's just a little bit, it's still better than where you were. So that's my advice.
I like it. Have you always lived in the Georgia area?
No, so I was born in Puerto Rico. When I was a year old, we moved to the mean streets of Winter Springs, Florida. So I lived in Florida as a kid, and then we moved up to Georgia after sixth grade. Starting from seventh grade, which was in 1991, I'm 48. We've lived in Georgia. So I'm basically a Georgian at this point because I've lived longer here than anywhere else in my life, even though sometimes I still think I'm kind of a Floridian. I'm now a tourist going to Disney World, which is weird. But yeah, I've mostly lived in Georgia my most of my life now.
Okay.
I'm almost 49 this year. But yeah, and I haven't really gotten too much of a Southern accent, luckily. But yeah, any chance I get to go to Florida, I still can, think back to my youth when I was, riding my BMX bike down the street in the Florida heat.
Yeah, my wife's in Fort Myers right now with some girlfriends, and she was sending me some pictures of it, and I was like, oh, I would just love to move. Can we just pick up our stuff and move? Because I feel like
you
half
the
the
winter
reason,
different than where you are.
I think half the reason why, at least I recognize it in myself. I go down in these valleys because it's like, oh, it's snow, oh, it's raining, oh, it's just terrible. You can't go outside, and it's like, man, if I could go for a walk consistently outside, and even if I'm wearing a light coat, that feels so much better than these negative degrees all the time for 5 months out of the year.
Or even just if you can see the sun. It's one thing, it could be cold, but at least if the sun's out, you get some vitamin D, that makes all the difference. But if it's cold and wet and dark, that's the worst. So yeah, you need to get down to Florida at least for a week at some point soon.
I know, the Midwest for you. It's amazing, but at the same time, it's got depressional value too.
Yeah, it's I need to get out of here before I hurt someone and then myself.
Yeah. Well, it's been really fun having you on, Rick. It's been a pleasure getting to know you more and getting to learn more about your CEO mindset, but also as a lawyer too. So you kind of have both powers going for you, which is really cool. Thanks so much for sharing your knowledge with all of us today.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. It's been great.